You know, I really like Universal Orlando Resort. It is 3 theme parks based on the Universal films like The Mummy, Despicable Me, Jurassic Park, E.T., and of course my favorite one, Jaws. My favorite park was Universal Studios Florida. I've gone on a lot of rides recently, like Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, Revenge of the Mummy the ride, The Simpsons ride, E.T. Adventure, and Transformers the ride. One of my favorites was Terminator 2-3D. If you don't know what that is, it's a 3D attraction where there is like robots, drones, and of course a lot of explosions. However, it is announced that on October 8th it will be eclipsed by another franchise. So with that on its deathbed, people are brave enough to go on it before it was too late. October 8th, 2017. When I heard that Terminator 2 3D was closing down, me and my girlfriend Katie decided to go pay the ride one last visit. We were staying at Universal for Christopher Columbus weekend. We checked into Cabana Bay, which of course doesn't offer Universal Express, which allows us to skip the lines. Also, it was during Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, where there is basically haunted houses and scare zones to frighten guests. We made plans to go there because there might be some special send-off like this one at Universal Studios Hollywood. When we arrived at Universal Studios Florida, we decided to head for Terminator 2 3D. When we got in line, however, it was already too long. I guess a lot of people had the same idea we had. We were so confused at what we saw. However, Katie had a plan. How about we hit up some other attractions until the sun's gone down and maybe go in some haunted houses? I said, okay, sounds good. We checked the show times to see where the last one will be performed. We noticed something weird. On the bottom of the showtimes listing, it said 12:30. We don't know why they would do this. So with that planned, we decided to go on the attractions before it got dark somehow. Not wanting to go on the 12:30 showtime as we planned, we decided to go at 11:30, which is much better. When the time came, we got there and noticed that the doors were closed, which was pretty weird. The employee told us to wait for the next showtime, so we sat on a bench and got bored. I told the employee and asked, when's the next showtime? She looked at me funny, like I just asked, where's the rat with the cheese? Then without saying a word, she left. About an hour later, people were then coming out of the attraction cheering with glee. I got upset a little and I told my girlfriend that we should head back to the hotel, but Katie said we should just go at 12:30 anyway. Maybe that is the last performance. I gave up and sat on a bench hoping the door would open. 30 minutes later, the doors were finally open. None of the people decided to go on the attraction. How can I tell? Well, it's because the 12:30 showtime disappeared. We were like in shock and thought that it was fake, but we decided to get on anyway. Once we entered, the doors closed on us, presumably to never open again. Me and Katie were the only ones on the attraction. We headed to line queue and noticed something. In the first room where we had entered, the Cyberdyne Systems logo seemed to be rusty and covered in blood. The lights seemed to flicker as if power was going out. When we came to the next room, which the lights were still on. This time though, instead of the Cyberdyne commercials like what we usually saw while waiting for the show, it was just static and colored bars. I guess this might be because they had to take the televisions down, or maybe something was wrong. The lights seemed to be fine. Then just as we were about to approach the pre-show room, the televisions turned off automatically, and so did the lights. First I thought there might be a power outage, but that's not true. When the lights came back on, we saw a Universal worker lying on the floor, out cold and covered in his own blood. Me and my girlfriend almost gagged and just ran into the pre-show room. Usually in the pre-show, they would have the Cyberdyne director out there and show us a Cyberdyne presentation. However, it was different. When we came in the pre-show room, we saw the director of Cyberdyne Systems hanging by the noose, not speaking. There was also blood on the Cyberdyne logo. The 2 screens seemed to show nothing but a black screen, as if the screens were turned off. Katie says, "What is going on? Is this a sick joke? I never saw that when we came in here." I said, "Oh, okay, maybe I should call someone to get us out." Unfortunately, I had no reception or a signal. The lights turned off and the screens came on. They were all static. It lasted for about 1 minute before it cut to something very unfortunate. The screen showed the hallways of Cyberdyne. One light only turned on from the wall. It showed a silhouette of a person with red glowing eyes. This went on for 5 minutes. When the lights came on, the silhouette was revealed to be a teenager wearing a Universal Studios Florida t-shirt all covered in blood, jeans, blue sneakers, and a black hoodie, red hat. His eyes were blood red. What he is holding is a hunting knife, which seems to be clean and not covered in blood. He was staring at us for a mere 20 seconds. Then the lights turned off in the hallway. Then the narrator said something. This is what he said. Hello, and welcome to Cyberdyne Systems. We also welcome you to the Cyberdyne Expo. Tonight's presentation will be your last. You will be seeing an exclusive presentation of our latest technology, but not for long. At midnight, normal operations of this presentation will cease and someone will be unleashed. Soon you will have to fend for yourself and your safety is not guaranteed. Please step inside the auditorium and witness our newest technology. And remember, the future is waiting. After the pre-show video was done, the lights turned back on and the director of Cyberdyne has vanished without a trace. But we entered the auditorium. It was normal. The director of Cyberdyne usually would come out on stage and show us the robots that have guns, but it was different this time. There were no cyborgs or the director. No one was on stage. The screen was blank. Katie says, "That never happens in the show. Was it special?" I say, "I don't think so." Well, maybe. Me and Katie were talking about the pre-show when all of a sudden, the lights slowly went out. We looked at the blank screen for 2 minutes. We nearly jumped out of our seats when we saw the screen turn to static. This went on for 3 minutes before it cuts to the first scene of the show. It showed the queue and saw the same teen from the pre-show, still holding a knife. He was just standing in line, motionless. A security guard comes in and tells the teen that he needs to leave and that the park will be closing soon. He did not answer or walked out. The security guards asked him again to leave the attraction, but that made him hold the knife in the air and stab the security guard on the chest. The security guard died and fell on the floor. The teen then looks at the camera and gives an evil grin. The red eyes then started to glow. His mouth that began to drool red blood. He stared at us for 40 seconds before it cuts to a scene where we now see the Cyberdyne director lying on the floor of the pre-show room and covered in her own blood. After 5 minutes of this, the screen turns off, and the stage lights came on. Just as we were about to head for the exit, the teen was on stage. He is still smiling and drooling blood. His t-shirt was now covered in blood to make things even worse. His knife was covered in blood too. He was staring at us now with his red eyes. We were shocked at what we've seen. We got out of our seats and found a door that led us to the exit, but for some reason it was locked. We took the other door and we were surprised that it was open, so we went out through the door. It led to a room where it was a robotic engineering lab. I didn't remember seeing this on the attraction or ever existed. It might be just a secret room Universal was hiding. The lights were flickering and all of the walls were decaying. We even heard elevator music, which was distorted. All robots were rusting and had flickering red lights. I was beginning to notice someone. He was out cold, and his eyes were gouged out of his sockets. He then woke up, which scared us. He yelled out profanity at us and told us we were not supposed to be here. We ran out of the room before he can charge at us. We were at another room now, which was a security surveillance room. One of the screens showed the auditorium where the teen was just standing and waiting for us to return. We walked out of the room to see the shower room. Both of these were never on the attraction. We looked around the shower room and pulled every shower curtain in the shower stalls to find another door. When we pulled the last one, we found a door. And guess who was there? It was that teen. He stared at us. As we reached the doorknob, the teen grabbed Katie's shoulder before she could kill her. We ran out of the door and all of a sudden we were in the hallway. It was normal, but the blinking lights remained. We ran as fast as we could to another door and it led us back to the auditorium where the teen was still there. We sat back down in our seats and prepared for the horrors to come. After 6 minutes of nothing, the teen then ripped off his face to reveal an exoskeleton with sharp teeth. We saw writing on his forehead and some red blood. It was labeled T666. He continued to stare at us for 10 minutes while screaming could be heard from the speakers, which were very loud. My ears were almost bleeding. The lights then go out, and all of a sudden the screen came back on. The last scene was the pre-show, which is now on fire. And T666 was in this room watching it burn to the ground. This went on for 2 minutes, then cut to him staring at us for the final time. As we ran to the exit door, we heard the narrator's voice one last time. He said, "Our newest technology will change your life forever, but try not to go beyond our technology, or you might find a few nasty surprises coming your way. You may have been scared to see what you have witnessed, but we will do our best to keep our technology bright for the future." As we got out of the exit door, it was over. We were now in the gift shop. We looked around for something we can keep, but it was devoid of gifts, so we gave up and went out of the attraction. Once we were out, we started a conversation about this attraction. As we were finished, a security guard told us that the park is closing and to make our way to the exits. As we were walking down onto the exit, we looked back on Terminator 2 3D. We saw the lights go out one last time. There was even construction workers standing there, ready to tear this attraction down. As we exited Universal Studios Florida, we saw the teen one last time, still covered in blood and glowing red eyes. He waved at us with his left hand, while the knife was in his right hand, and then vanished past the Universal logo structure. As we went back to the hotel room, we slept with the lights on, hoping that the teen does not kill us in our sleep. After our vacation, I explained my parents about this, but they did not believe me. As for now, I did not plan on going to Universal in 2019 to witness the new attraction that replaced Terminator 2 3D. In conclusion, I decided to wait 2 years until the new attraction opens up. My only advice to you is, never see a show after park hours, because you never know what will happen. Okay. So... that was so bad. Dude, I was legit, like, laughing so much. God, I hope that recording comes out decent, because I really tried, man. Like, I went and I re-recorded every time I started to chuckle, and God, I hope it sounds good. I hope it's not all choppy. Oh, man, that was a bad creepypasta. What a great start. What a great start to this, theme park creepypasta thing that I'm trying to do, and that I probably will keep doing. Wow. So, I think that the terribleness of that story really speaks for itself. I don't know how much I can really add, but it's just so bad. Like the fact that the fact that the construction workers are, like, waiting to tear it down after they get it out, and the fact that the gift shop was devoid of gifts. And I love the way that I think it is hilarious the way that detail is melded into the story, because it's, like, right after, like, the scary part, quote unquote, and then, like, what that's supposed to be, like, a revelation. Like, the gift shop was devoid of gifts. It's like, oh no. Such a silly... And they say that this is Halloween Horror Nights. Is this the last day of Halloween Horror Nights? I can't remember. God. That was my first time reading this. I didn't catch if it was the last day of Horror Nights or not, but nonetheless, it's Horror Nights. Why? Just... God, why? Just nothing about this makes sense. And it doesn't even work. It has tons of spelling errors. I'm absolutely certain that this Lego fan 2012 who wrote this, I'm absolutely certain it is a child. And I don't want to bully a child for his writing style. Whatever he's writing, that's cool. Yeah, I just don't know. This is something else, man. I was hoping it would be good. I mean, I hope everything's good before I read it. Because why wouldn't you? Why would you want something to be bad? So I actually kind of hope this was good, but it wasn't good. But it was a laugh. It was a laugh, it was a goof, it was funny. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with how this video turned out, at least. Not happy with the creepypasta, but yeah. Well, Lego fan, you might wanna do something else. Cause this is oof. Yeah, once again, I'm sorry that I don't have too much to say. It's just, this is just very self-evident, like, what's wrong with this, and I feel like I'm wasting, like, literal seconds of my life, like, even reminiscing on it, so, yeah. Nonetheless, what a goofy story.